Welcome in, guys, and I am back to another scout report, and today we are scouting Sam Roush. Yeah, Sam Roush is a tight end from Stanford, California. And yeah, I'm not gonna, again, I do have a line, before we start the scout report, I do have a Lions video, hopefully going up Sunday maybe. I'm hoping for Sunday that can go up, so maybe Sunday, maybe early Monday, when I'm going to talk about what the Lions are doing in free agency. But yeah, we'll get into that. So let's get into this scout for Sam Roush, tight end from Stanford, California. Games I saw him on tape were Boston College, San Jose State, Florida State, Miami, Pittsburgh, California, Notre Dame. Let's talk about his strengths. First thing you see when you see Sam Roush on tape is his elite blocking ability. Again, you look at this kind of draft class, especially tight ends. He is one of the, people saying he's one of the best kind of blockers in this draft class. Again, he's good at the run game. He's great in both being a run blocker and pass protection. He's got great technique and leverage and good drive with his legs, and he can create. You can be creative in the lanes. So that's again instantly you look at, that's just one thing you see with Sam Roush. Another thing that you see on Sam Roush's tape is his physical. He's very aggressive as a blocker, and again he's finishes to running to the ground, like again very high motor, very physical, very physical, and again what I've talked about a lot of times with these scout reports over the last few weeks is the versatility. Sometimes it can be an inline slot, or it can be put on the wing type thing, and sometimes it can be considered as a fullback to make him more of a different to again more versatile chess piece player. But again, you can play him in different kind of positions. And like I've said before, with the defensive side of things and the strategy, you've got to be very versatile in this league, because again, if you're one-dimensional, heavily one-dimensional, you're going to get exposed heavily. And with Sam Roush being really, again, he can be good as an inline slot or as a wing. He's just, again, you can play him either a position really, but he is really good at being versatile. Then one thing again, he's got great athleticism around him. Fantastic athleticism around him, high-end test. And then he's been a starter for 3 years in Stanford. He's been a starter for 3 years as a tight end. So again, he's really experienced at tight end. He's ready. I think he was like 23, 22, 23, something like that. But yeah, he's been a starter for the last 3 seasons. So again, you're looking at him as being consistently being the guy in Stanford for the last couple of years. With the tight end, so he's been tight end one for a couple of years. Weaknesses. One big concern, one big concern when it comes to Roush is that he has short arms, very short arms, which again can limit his catch ratio and hinder his ability to like sustain blocks against like long arm, especially when he's going up against long arm. He's going up against a long arm defensive unit. That's going to be one heck of a problem, because he's very quick and fast and he's got great pace, but his arms, especially with his catch ratio, is not going to be that high in the NFL with his short arms, and you could kind of see that in college as well. But if he's going up against a defensive lineman who has a long arm about him, it's game over. I wouldn't be wanting to compare these guys, but and then a couple more that I kind of seen on his tape that I thought of, but his limited separation, he can struggle to create consistent separation against against man cover. So again, when he's in man cover, sometimes he can limit his separation to get out of man coverage after failing to use quickness, or again if he doesn't have his speed and he's trying to be creative by gain out of man coverage, he kind of struggles if he doesn't have his quickness. But yeah, that's one thing there. His blocking is a bit inconsistent. Again, his blocking needs a lot of work. Again, he is an excellent run blocker, but his pad level can be inconsistent. Again, he lunges at defenders too much instead of actually just play better football in this position. But he lunges at defenders too much, which can lead to missed blocks. So again, if you can find an offensive coordinator, whoever he gets drafted to, if you can coach it out of his system, like again, you're hoping maybe in 3 years though. If he's been starting for 3 years and he's consistently he's been a starter for 3 years at Stanford, you're hoping in those 3 years that the inconsistency of him, his pad levels would hopefully go up more, because he's been a starter for 3 years. He lunges at defenders too much, and then that leads to often missed blocks in games. And then kind of is limited, he has limited routes. Sometimes he'll just do like a run route, very run route. And he's more of a blocker. Again, a lot of things that I've seen, he's kind of more like a blocker than he's like a receiver. But yeah, that's kind of limited as a kind of just receiver. And then one other thing that I kind of caught up on, but I'm going to talk about it here, is his catch technique. Sometimes his concentration kind of withdraws, and that's kind of with a lot of these guys. What I've seen, sometimes the concentration drops, and he tends to let the ball come into his chest rather than catch it with his hands, cleanly with his hands. Again, just be better with your catch technique. But you're hoping after 3 years he would have understood that. That's just 101 football. But Sam Roush, I think again, he's a good prospect to have. I think he's going to be probably I would see him as a day 3 pick. I'm going to say maybe late day 2, early day 3. I'm not going to be saying, he's tight end 1. I don't think he's tight end 1 in this draft. But you look at, especially looking at Sam Roush, he's got some great attributes to him. Definitely some things that you need to kind of work on. But ultimately, I think he's a early day 3 pick. I think you're probably looking at Sam Roush as like a tight end 2, tight end 3, and that isn't a bad thing. I just don't see him as a tight end 1. That's just my opinion. But again, leave your guys' thoughts if you see Sam Roush in the comments. Hype up the video. Get that video hyped up, guys, and I'll be back soon. Bye, guys.